To be green means balance. Initial idea, design, construction, the materials, the impact on the environment, as well as sustainability. All of those components together have to balance each other.
To be green to me is to be aware of the imprint that we all make upon this earth, how much we use, how much we impact the environment.
It's not only important today to be green. It was important historically, it's important now, and it will be important in the future.
It is becoming a cool thing to do without even realizing that we are really impacting our environment.
Thinking that it doesn't matter what the weather's like outside or what part of the country we're in, because with equipment we can control that. But we've since learned that that's not always a good solution, because you run into problems with sick building syndrome. There's more cases of asthma, allergies, so it's a negative impact on the people who inhabit the buildings, not to mention all of the energy that it takes to operate this type of equipment. People are starting to realize that by improving the building envelope, greater insulation, downsizing mechanical systems, and even the whole design of a facility, working more with whatever your existing climate is, that there's a lot more harmony there.
We see 910 Arts as an exciting urban community offering emerging and established artists a place to develop their work in a creative and affordable environment near downtown Denver.
Creative individual, artist, tend to go into an area that's affordable and a little run down and, turn it around in a couple of years that it's a really hip, happening place, fun to go and hang out, and then the real estate prices go up and they're priced out. So kind of the whole concept behind 910 Arts was to provide a space, both residential, where people could actually have a live-work loft, and working studios that are affordable or below market rate prices, and that will stay that way long term. The property that we sell here is deed restricted long term, so that it will maintain the affordability.
When people see 910 Arts, they look into 17 artist studios, 8 live-work lofts, Studio 6 coffee shop, and a colorful courtyard.
In addition to the work studios and the live-work lofts, we do have an exhibition space that is used as a gallery, also for events. But what we're really trying to promote is mixed media.
This is the oldest building. This was the original building, and it was the livery which housed the horses for the trolleys that went up and down Santa Fe Drive, and it was built in 1890.
One of the things we did is there was an existing swamp cooler, and we kept it, just changed out the guts of it, so to speak, with a new fan and motor, making it a little bit more powerful. And one of the first things we found as we got the building up and running this summer and using the swamp cooler is so much pressure built up in here from the air, it couldn't exhaust out the 2 little wind turbines that you see at the top of the skylight. And it was actually our roof membrane was billowing up with air whenever the swamp cooler came on. So what we had to do was come back in and cut 2 more reliefs, those shiny squares up there are new holes that we cut in so that as the pressure builds up, those open and exhaust out. If you look closely at the skylight, you can see the original design, the rectangular panels. You can even see the chains still hanging from there. It did originally have the flaps there so that it could exhaust out that hot air. We did try to get those operable, but over so many years of having new roofing and tarring, they got sealed up and there was no way without demolishing the skylight that we could get them operable. So it's really interesting to see that they were really working with the climate and knew how this structure needed to work. 910 Arts has been selected by the Colorado chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council as the Exemplary Colorado Project, and it's also been selected by National USGBC as the Legacy Project for Green Build 2006. The mission statement of the U.S. Green Building Council is to transform the marketplace so that being green isn't like a novel or specialty type of thing, but that throughout anything that's done with built facilities, that's just the norm.
A lot of times people say, oh, we're adding a little bit extra, we're adding more insulation than is required. That's the green aspect. But I guess if people are thinking about it, and as more people are aware, they will start adding and doing more things. This is wheat board, which is made out of wheat shaft after making bread. This is the leftover material. In deconstructing the building, these are the original fluorescent lights, and we took those down, and a nonprofit organization working with women who are learning the trades, Mikasa program, the women in their electrical program refitted all of these lights and updated them so we can reuse them. This is made from the dust and leftover materials in lumber yards. And so again, it's a byproduct and it's a sustainable product. We used what we call cob blasting, using ground up corn cobs, which is more environmentally friendly because it's much easier to clean up than sand.
Where we're standing right now, there used to be a solid masonry wall right here. And at the beginning of this project, as I was developing it, we'd walk people in and say, okay, this is the entrance, and pretend like you can go through this wall, and on the other side there's going to be a courtyard. And the question was, a courtyard? What do you mean? It's open to the sky? And we're like, yes. It's going to rain and snow in there? How can it rain and snow inside a building? And it was so hard for people to understand how we could take a building apart to create a courtyard. So now, as we can actually walk in, you can see the remaining structure that we left in place. This continued on across and was part of the building here. The steel frame that you see, we took apart and reused those beams and purlins throughout the building. We kind of like the term deconstruct to reconstruct. And so by taking that apart, we were able to create this open-air courtyard, and also had to pull up the concrete slab that was here, put in all the infrastructure so that we could get a drain in the center for water and snow to melt into and then go out to the street. So this is really what we see this courtyard as the heart of 910 Arts. It's a gathering place for the artist and for the public to come in and interact with artists. And what we're seeing in the short time that we've been open already is that other creative individuals like to come here, sit in the courtyard and have their meetings or meet with their friends over a cup of coffee from Studio 6 Coffee House.
Studio 6 is a coffee house where artists and everyone can kind of come to get an art experience in the 910 Arts building, which is obviously all about green. So that means our paints are all low VOC, our window trim is going to be all the wheat board, all of the wood you actually see, because there is some actual oak and things through here. These are all salvaged materials. All of our appliances are purchased through auction. There's not a single new appliance in here, so reuse obviously being the best form of recycle. It's a cheaper way actually to do than buying all new brand new appliances, but it also is just not putting this stuff into landfills. It's putting them into a whole new world where they get to be used again and again. And when I was first looking at spaces for where we wanted to do the coffee shop, the art aspect of this community as well as the green aspect were the two things that really sold me on it. And then the courtyard's really cool. But Yeah, our menu is constantly rotating, so it's always going to be based on the market trends, what's available freshest and when. We try and use organic products wherever possible. Our coffee comes from Silver Canyon out of Boulder, and everything we carry is organic and fair trade. The Fair Trade organization is great for establishing fair wages for what can otherwise be almost a slave trade. And then the organic is great because it's responsible as far as the growing and renewability. So, not sure what else to say exactly. We'll be here, yeah, for sure.
We felt it was very important to have light coming into both sides of the live-work lofts. We refer to it as an atrium, and when we put it into the building department to get our approvals for our building permit, they decided it was too small to be considered an atrium. Therefore, they classified it as a vertical shaft. Well, you cannot have any openings in a vertical shaft, so it took several months to be able to finally get this approved, that we could have doors that open onto it, we could have windows with the skylight above, and also with our mechanical system of hot air rises, a very passive system. This was critical to the overall design of the mechanical systems, the heating and cooling and the moving of the fresh air throughout the building and exhausting it up and out through the exhaust fans that are at the top.
What is green is the nature, the earth, the trees, rejuvenation of your soul, and political parties that are taking energy in Europe, but not much in the U.S.
Green is the color of the first belt that we use in our capoeira school for a student who is what we call a batizado, a student who fully participates in capoeira.
What is green? It's a color.
New, fresh, healthy, and my studio.
What is green? This building is green. 910 Arts.
910 Arts.
Why? Why? Oh dear. That's
This is a green facility here at 910 Arts, which means that we've used reclaimed and recycled materials in the construction and renovation of the facility. We also have ultra energy efficient windows, doors, and fixtures.
Money is supposed to be Ruth's first reaction, right? There you go. Pan. That's green. Green is also using old materials and to make something, put something together. I guess that's green. The reusage of it, environmental friendly.
Green is being conscientious about everything you do, whether it's the materials you use, recycling at home, the bottles, the cans, these things. It's about not throwing away and creating excessive use and looking for creative solutions to make our living spaces work with the environment we live in and not trying to fit us into a niche we aren't. I mean, we live in these homes that are life support systems, basically, instead of finding ways to integrate into our natural ecology in the places we live. So that's green to me. So, yeah.
And that's green.
You do make a difference, every individual. The one piece of paper that you put into a recycle bin to recycle rather than throwing it in the trash, it does make a difference. If you kind of think of like a traditional artist, they have a palette with the different splotches of color on it. And so that was the initial concept. The building is really a white background with splotches of color on it. It's not just painted on, but it's the actual stucco that has all the different colors in it. The white is very reflective as far as reflecting the heat and also would increase kind of the brilliance of the building. Scratch that out so you don't, so we change that. So it's, we are proud.
Let me see if.
To say that we have used there. We're proud to say that we have used eco-friendly methods and materials, green building, and incorporated it throughout the design, construction, and ongoing operation of the building.
The floor is made out of OSB and it's made from aspen. Aspen, again, is a sustainable material because it just continually grows.
Poo paper is from Sri Lanka, which is home to about 40,000 Asian elephants in the wild. They're a problem to the farmers. So one of the solutions was to look at what comes from an elephant that would be of value to the people. Since an elephant eats only grass, the dung that they have is totally environmentally friendly. So they found a way to make paper of all different colors from it. Nine10 Arts is committed to community outreach and involvement with art on all levels by creating an open dialogue and raising awareness between artists and the community through the creation and expression of art.